Welcome to this week's edition of the Owl and the Pussycat. Got to tell you that the mail trail is very good, so thank you very much. After episode 1, we've picked up a lot of new letters, concerns, issues is the new word that they call it. So we will deal with the issues of the day, and thank you for that, but please keep them coming because our panel just love to have a crack at whatever is worrying you. Let's meet the panel for this one, and it's Janice Gray, of course, entertainer extraordinaire. Lovely to see you, dear.
Nice to see you too.
You look younger every time you appear on TV.
It's my knees and things.
It's a what?
My knees and things.
If you've just tuned in, this is your first time, tell us about your knees, will you?
I'd love to. I had Miss September done last year, and she's beautiful. I had Miss April done this year, and she's not sort of come up as lovely as Miss September did. I've got to tell you, sometimes at night in bed, when it's just me...
Yeah. And the cat.
And the dog.
The dog.
And the pain. But no, look, perfect.
Great. So you'd recommend it to people, get them done?
Some men aren't that brave, Pete. No. I have heard that, you know, if they're down for 2, they'll do 1 and they won't go back.
Never go back, quite right. Fresh from having had a very scary time at the AMP show last year. We fell off a horse, but she's back in fine form as the happy gardener. Rachel Vogan, welcome back.
Great to see you.
How did you know with the new set that was the colour to wear?
Sometimes I get it right, Pete. Sometimes I get it right.
Great.
Good to see you.
Nice to see you and nice to be able to do some work with you. Let's go to a new panellist that we've got, Tina Cartwright, who is a school registrar. And Tina, well, it's pretty nerve-wracking first up. You okay?
Certainly is.
Yeah. Well, just say hello to everybody. Be lovely if you wouldn't mind. Now, we're going to drop you in the hot seat because the first question is actually for you, and it comes from Judith from Prebbleton. And who will be left to run our junior sports programs? The demands on parents to work longer hours, 7 days a week, just to keep afloat, must have a flow-on effect on volunteers. Now, you're in a school environment. You rely heavily on volunteers, I presume, for sport?
I totally agree, and it's not just in the schools as well, it's any volunteers out there. It's becoming harder and harder when you're looking for volunteers to get people because of the 7-day week.
Reading the letter from Judith, another thought went through my mind. I presume there's so much demand now on teachers to actually perform in a classroom situation, probably not as willing to do the sport that they used to.
Absolutely, and more and more I think the schools are bringing people in and having to pay coaches as well, rather than having volunteers. So
now, a low decile school, that would be very difficult, I would have thought.
Very difficult, yes.
Rach, you're out in the country. This is Judith from Prebbleton, is it?
Yeah, well, I
common
sort
out there?
live out, I live in Taitat, so near you, Judith, and the community support I've got to say for sports in the rural areas is really strong, but I know that a lot of city schools really struggle, and, you know, traffic can be an issue. It's not always easy to be there to coach football at 4 o'clock, you know, maybe the times don't suit. But I would think it would be really sad if it was to be lost, that the sports and things. Leslie Murdoch's a great person to talk to. She often brings it up, these issues that we're losing part of our community connection. So I'm really hopeful that the new inner city sports complex will be able to reunite some of these groups and organisations.
Jen, it's not ageing you at all, but my age and probably yours, we remember the huge presence that staff, teachers had on your sport, and you really got to know the teacher and the teacher got to know you a bit better. Yeah. I think that's gone.
PE was a big thing for us at school in my day and your day probably, but I think today that the teachers seem to have to be, they almost have to have a fan of talent to be able to deal with the kids. And for New Zealand to be feeding kids in school, giving them breakfast, how much more does Mr. Key have to see it written on the wall that there is poverty in this country? It's shocking. You have to be psychologist, trainer, mummy, daddy.
Tina, in the school or the college that you work in, there's still a high demand to have sport. I mean, I know the college you're at is St Margaret's College, and they do perform above their weight, really, don't they?
Absolutely. Yeah. And the other thing, these days there are so many sports on offer. It's you know, used to be just the traditional sports, but now I think we cater for around 40 different sports in the school over the year, and finding coaches for all of those codes is...
and they all expect to achieve, don't they? Each sport wants to achieve.
Yes, of course. But if there's an interest there, if there's a keenness to do a sport, it'll get catered for.
Just another wee add-on to Judith's question from Prebbleton. I just wondered too, Tina, you probably see this, the cost now, the travel that sports teams do from schools must be horrific for parents.
Yes, and depending on the sport that you're doing, there are huge variety of costs.
I'm thinking of of rowing, for argument's sake. We've lost our river
Australia.
here. We've got to travel to row, and yet they want to still do it. It's one of the biggest sports for men and boys and girls, really, isn't it?
Fabulous sport.
Yeah. And St Margaret's done well. Okay, we do have an empathy with you. There's no two ways about that, Judith. But let's hope that sport can maintain this presence because we've got an obese society, remember? So we need to work on that. Janice.
Sport is a wonderful outlet for the kids too. I mean, that's where they make their friends, their companionship for the rest of their years, everything like that. And they get a wonderful sense of achievement, I believe. There's more smiles on sports people's faces than there are tears.
And if you can play in a team sport, you can work in any business. I always say if you play a team sport, you can work with anyone.
Yes.
Because you've got a common goal and you're all collectively working towards it.
So just on still the same question, Tina, I suppose you actually see some of your pupils blossom as their sports team achieves.
Definitely.
Yes,
Yes,
and a better control of life, probably.
Confidence and
All right.
definitely.
One quick one we'll go to, which will be for Rachel, this one. Ross from Edgware says, surely with the acres of bare land created by the earthquakes, could it be put to better use by creating community food gardens? Thoughts, Rachel?
Excellent question. There's actually over 30 community gardens in and around Christchurch. And I'm currently working on a project with the Waiora Trust.
Oh, good.
Yes.
And they've got allotments there, so if you have a group of people and you want to come out, we will give you an allotment, supply you your seedlings. We've been planting potatoes this week, so you can come out and get involved.
Is that spread around the city or in certain areas?
Well, the Community Gardens Association has a website, so you can go onto the website and see where they all are. The challenge with using just a bare plot that might be next door, you don't actually know if you don't know what's happening with that site, the soil may have been contaminated. So I wouldn't encourage anyone to go and freely start up a new one if you don't know about the area and the safety. But get involved with some of these community garden projects. They're absolutely amazing and so rewarding.
You'd back that, Janice?
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
You're a king gardener, so
No,
I'm
I'm a reformed gardener. I've gotten the thrill of spring, and the fact that you plant seeds and things grow.
Yeah, it's lovely, isn't it?
But you can almost be self-sufficient with what you grow.
Oh, no, not really. I've got eggs from the chooks, and yes, I've got rocket and lettuce, and when the potatoes come up in 100 days.
Yes.
100 days it takes for potatoes, so you should have planted yours earlier if you want them for Christmas. Look, I'm a happy little chap. I love my little plot.
Tina, I can't help thinking, though, in the society we're in, wouldn't that just be a free basket for people to go down and just pinch it?
Possibly, but no. I think it's a fabulous idea. We have it happening at school with our junior girls, that they're doing the Garden to Table project where they're planting and watering and...
Yes.
So Ross, in answer to your question, yes, it is happening and is to be applauded. So we'll be back with another question in just a moment with the panel. Following on from Community Gardens, very interesting letter here from Stephen from Woolston. I've got to say, Stephen, I'm on your side. I don't know what the panel are going to say. Who has given Wilson Parking the right to place meters on every bit of bare land in the inner city? All it does is encourage the free parking at the shopping malls. I couldn't agree more. I've had more tickets in the city than I've had before the earthquake. So, Janice, a bugbear for you?
Yes, Wilson Parking particularly because it's owned by people in Singapore, and I don't think their last name will be Wilson.
No, probably not. But
no.
Who gives them the right to just whack a sign up?
Obviously, government.
Right. Or city.
Government or city council. Yeah. I really don't know, but I get annoyed by them also. And I read in the paper the other day about that $200 parking fine they had for the bus full of kids that they took to the Botanic Gardens because they were over the 3-hour time. No. $200. Who's going to pay that?
Yeah. Tina, does it drive you out of the city or think about going to the city?
It does, and I think the actual cost of the parking, sure, if they want to put it up, but the actual cost is exorbitant.
Rachel, the other fear I've got, of course, is that there's going to be a new one built in Litchfield Street as a commercial entity by Philip Carter. Good luck to him, I've got no aim with that. But if you don't do it commercially, you're going to want a return, aren't you?
Well, and that's what it's all about, isn't it?
Yeah,
but the gripe I have with car parks is when they've got unstable ground and you get out and there might be a puddle and you stand in it, you know, and you can't take your trolleys over them because they're all rutted. So, yeah, if they're going to do it, I think they should be giving us a better service.
And they're charging for Saturdays and Sunday parking.
Yes.
Appalling.
Yeah. and the malls just get stronger.
Oh, I believe so.
Yeah, I mean, why wouldn't you? You don't have to worry about your meter, you don't have to worry about whether you put the
We
money...
need to support the inner city, though.
Of course we do.
We need to support that. We need everyone to be going back into the inner city and creating that community. So it needs to be more easier and user-friendly.
That's exactly the words I'm going to use. Tina, user-friendly, you'd go,
Absolutely.
wouldn't you? Yeah.
And just
Although
for
where you live, you can
the
actually walk
smaller
into...
shops.
You can
and-
walk into the city, which is quite good, isn't it?
Yes, but I just think the smaller, the mums and dads and the Victoria Streets and those sorts of places, they should be encouraging that
Absolutely.
as well.
Right, well, you're all in favour of you, that's fine. Now, this is one... This is one I've sort of earmarked for Janice, I think, and it's from Rochelle from St Albans. It's a little bit dodgy, but we'll get there. Is there a right time to lose your virginity? I think I'm ready now, says Rochelle from St Albans. Janice, the wise old head.
Harold, is this?
Yeah.
Don't know. She's ready.
Rochelle, didn't we get a letter from Rochelle of St Albans last time we did this program?
Well, maybe she's still waiting.
Yeah, that's
What
right.
advice do we give her?
What? Go horse riding, darling.
Yeah.
Learn
Yeah.
ballet.
That doesn't
Learn
kill
ballet.
me, this
Yeah.
Don't mention horse riding when we're talking to Rachel.
No,
so,
yeah, no.
yeah.
Look, it's a personal thing, and you need it. I mean, what's her name again?
Rochelle.
Rochelle,
Yeah.
not stupid.
No.
Rochelle, find a suitable partner. It would be all I recommend. Somebody who's gentle, kind, and thoughtful.
Yeah.
If you're going to do it, go for 100% enjoyment, and don't be titillated in the back seat of a car if you don't mind.
If we could just then
I
come
know.
to Tina on a slightly more serious note of this, there must be increasing pressure now
that was
on young
serious.
people because that sort of topic is all over the television, it's all over magazines,
virginity.
it's all over the computer. Well, no, they all think they should get onto it or else they're missing out.
Oh,
Is that a fair comment or not?
I don't know.
I think it's probably well publicised that children are growing up a lot earlier
quicker
than
boobs.
our days.
That's right.
And so those sorts of questions and things are happening earlier, but it's
Hormone related?
having someone to talk to about it,
Yeah.
learning about it, whether it's in your school situation. Often it might not be your mother is the best person to talk to, but having friends, those sorts of things that you can talk about it is
Just
good.
extending that subject just a little bit, do you feel that the girls at St Mary's are under huge pressure not to participate, but they are surrounded by this all the time, their access to computers, for argument's sake?
I guess they're more knowledgeable because of it, and it's
Sound knowledge or picked
yes,
up knowledge?
it's they're learning earlier. I think they're learning about sex earlier than I certainly did, and so they have got that knowledge.
If
and
they
it's just
learn, they
making
want to experiment.
it's just making good choices. And
Yes.
I agree with
Being
what
safe.
Janice said. Being safe and just making good choices.
Yes.
All right.
And having the knowledge, understanding.
the motivation for it. You know, it's not if you have sex doesn't mean that you're going to be loved. You
That's
know,
right.
and so it's not to fill that void.
Correct.
Not to be.
But it is portrayed as that's what happens. isn't
No.
it? You go to a movie and they fall in love and make love. And,
Yeah. They've
Well,
got
that's the movies.
90 minutes.
We all know about show business.
Yeah, don't we though?
But they're
the
watching
thing is,
movies and
I
t-
like what you said about not confusing sex with love.
Yes.
That's such a common mistake that women make, because men, you know what men are like, don't you?
How's your dog, dear?
Yeah.
You're quite with your dog.
Highly preferable. But the thing is, girls, it's a once in a lifetime thing. Do it well, do it properly.
All right, well, we'll stay with the subject, and this one is far more complicated, I would have thought. And it's dear old Michael, and he's 14, and he's decided to write to the Allen Pussycats, which I admire.
14.
He's 14, so we've got that in mind. He doesn't know what to do with his tongue when I'm kissing girls. All the guys on the telly seem to, but I don't. Help me. So we're talking about television, talking about computers, talking about seeing it in action. This poor Michael is struggling at 14 to know what to do with his tongue.
Bless him.
What would we do with it, Janice?
Hold it. No. I look, it's a thing that you learn. Keep practicing. Yes. Didn't we all kiss mirrors?
No.
What? Your arm?
No.
Who?
No. Just a random chap from the Chatham Islands.
Oh, really? I see. So that was
left out of this.
Yeah.
When
Well, it just sort of happens, really, doesn't
Did you
it?
kiss
It is.
mirrors or?
Well, I don't remember kissing mirrors, no.
Oh,
But it just
everybody
sort of,
did.
it just sort of happens in practice.
Yeah.
Just it evolves.
Michael at 14 shouldn't be panicking.
Absolutely not.
No.
No,
No,
absolutely
if in
not.
doubt, leave it out. You know, don't.
That's right.
Don't.
No, hang on, tighten
Yeah.
up. What's going on here?
Well, if in doubt, if he's, you know, whoever he's kissing, or a boy or a girl, don't put your tongue in straight away.
No.
No.
But he's seeing it on the telly.
Is he?
Yeah,
I mean, do you?
that's what he's telling me.
Well, okay, but my advice would be, if in doubt, leave it out. So
Yeah.
keep your tongue to
It's a
yourself.
terrific surprise to get somebody's tongue in your mouth for the
No,
first
it's
time,
not
isn't it?
necessarily
It's
pleasant
not
either,
pleasant.
Michael.
No,
No.
not pleasant.
No.
So if you're
Janice, you
going
never
to...
fail to amaze me at the length of your memory.
Yeah.
How
We can
far?
go
I
right back
presume
to
that. I presume
the first
that's a
time you had a
compliment,
tongue in
Mr.
your mouth
Owl.
wouldn't have been yesterday.
No, it wasn't. It was outside Martin Park, and I must have been about 14 or something. This guy
There's
just
Michael,
grabbed me.
14, wants
Yeah,
to
that's
know.
right, that's right.
Yeah.
And it was offensive. I didn't like it, and it was slimy, and I went, get out.
Why didn't you bite it?
Oh, of course, you think of that afterwards, don't you?
Right.
Yes.
Tina, the range we get of letters are very, very fascinating, aren't they? Yeah, yeah. I don't know whether you feel younger or older when you've been on the panel. We'll work that out. Back in a moment when we have a think about it for the last time.
Good on you.
Almost sounds like a bit of a roundup, that music, doesn't it? I'm not quite sure whether we're going to be lassoed out of here, but we're not. It's the Owl and the Pussycat. We're back, and we're looking forward to your feedback, and because we need to get your letters, and we will endeavour to deal with them. As you can see, it's a diverse range that comes through the mailbox, I've got to tell you. But there's many, many other ways that you can now get in touch with us in the modern world. OK, Gerald from Temuka writes this. And I'm going to ask Rachel this because I think she's the most recently married. I have to go to a wedding in a fortnight's time. The invitation says no presents. Do you think they mean it, or will I be the only dickhead that turns up without one, says Gerald of Temuka.
Well, it's a really good question, actually. When I got married, we had what was called a wishing well, where people just put, like, you know, an envelope with some money in it, you know, something like that. They say no gifts, possibly respect it, but I can't. I've always got to take something, whether it will be a plant or a gift of some sort. I struggle with not taking anything. Like, if you go to someone's house for dinner, I've always got to take something, even if it's only a bottle of wine.
Good on you.
I bet it's something you've made, though, probably.
Generally.
You're very good at it.
Yeah, generally. But I did have to test drive rather a few dummies before I found my husband, so... It's you know, so if you're saying no gifts, there may be a reason.
And he's still a 3 or 5 star, is he?
Oh,
Is he?
yes,
That's
a 3 handicap.
Tina, do you find it difficult, leading on from Gerald's question, just how do you place a value on a gift you take? It's quite difficult, isn't it?
You don't when it's a gift.
Yes, it's a hard one. I guess when you're going to a wedding, you perhaps consider the hospitality that's being offered and give a gift in relation to that. But it's when it says no gifts, it does put you in a very awkward position because often you'll want to give a gift unless perhaps the couple are an older couple. They're 2 households coming together. They've got everything they need,
That often happens,
and that makes, you know, the old toaster or whatever is irrelevant.
Can we come to you? Birthday gifts. You still like getting a birthday gift, don't you, Janice?
Of course I do, and I like giving them too. But vouchers are a very handy thing. You know, there might be just
Not a
something
cop-out?
not necessarily, as Tina said. A lot of people, when you're over 21, you've generally got your sheets, your towels and your pillowcases and everything, and your glory box. Not anymore, Dandruff. They don't do that these days, do they? They don't do their Irish linen keeping. Although I've still got Irish linen from my first marriage.
From your first marriage?
Double.
What did you do for your second marriage?
What did I do for my... Ran.
Yeah.
You know, what Homer Simpson says, call me mint sauce, I'm on the lamb.
All right, so it is an awkward one, and I think you can only take it at face value. If they say no presents, they mean no presents. You can't be held to ransom because others turn up with something,
It's
can
your
you?
choice, though, isn't it? It's your choice. So if you decide to, whatever motivates you to do it.
A bottle of wine that they can keep for their 10th anniversary or something like that.
Who does that?
Vouchers is a great idea.
I think
Offers
vouchers.
choice.
I like getting vouchers.
And even if it's to a local restaurant or something like that.
Good
that,
idea.
An occasion. Yes.
So that they can go and have a meal
Yeah,
and
Gerald,
enjoy.
I bet there's some lovely restaurants in Temuka that someone would like to go to, even though you can't drive through the town now through an absolute shambles by State Highway 1 go around the outside. Never mind, I digress. Stanley from New Brighton writes, daylight savings in. The days are getting warmer and longer and the boobs are falling out of the skimpy tops. God, I hate winter. Good on you, Stanley. Okay, Tina's the youngest one here. Is there an uplift in the summer? Or less clothing?
Daylight saving's fabulous and summer's fabulous. And
If you've got it, flaunt it.
well, if it's warmer, you obviously wear fewer clothes. And depending on your age, it's well, no, not necessarily depending on your age, but yeah, get out there and enjoy the sunshine.
You don't find it offensive, Rachel?
No one takes too much notice of me, so it doesn't really affect me. But you always notice when you go to the races or something like that, if someone's wearing a little bit, well, not enough, and they're having a few bubblies or something and things start going pear-shaped, they sort of come out and all. That's not always pleasant, but always men find it quite entertaining.
Discreet is probably the better form, isn't it, Janice? Than
Well,
flashing it?
discreet. I was discreet on this occasion, and in the backyard, in my backyard, the sun shining on me, showing off my beautiful body, and a little voice from next door says, "I can see your boobies. I can see your boobies." She must have been this high to the hole in the fence, you see.
Please.
So she said, "Why don't you wear a bra?" And I thought, there she is, she's being indoctrinated at that age that women should wear bras. Not all women can wear bras. This is the thing, what you should understand, people, when you see a woman without a bra, not necessarily showing off or anything like that, it's just, it could be a physical condition, could be a medical condition. Anyway, I said to this little child in my best schoolmarm voice, "Why don't you mind your own business?"
Please.
Yes.
How intimidating
Probably
would
never
that be?
spoken again.
No, moved.
Yeah.
That's not how you got your sore knees, dear. Oh, I'm sorry, I was just thinking.
Oh, my God.
Okay, let's move on, and this will probably be the last one. It's a tricky one too. Shona from Amberley writes, "My son has just announced he wants to marry the man of his dreams. It turns my stomach. Advice, please, panel, on how I can come to terms with this."
Well, bless him.
Yeah.
Bless him.
It's not your marriage, Sonia.
You've got a son who's not married, Tina. He comes home and he's got the boy of his dreams.
He's your son, and he'll always be your son,
That's
and
right.
you will always love him, no matter what.
Is there a bit of inward looking to think, did I get it wrong in the parenting? Well, who says it's wrong? I suppose that's the other thing, isn't it? Yeah.
Gosh, I think we're about 50% heterosexual and 50% gay in the world, aren't we? I mean, cop it sweet. She can't change his tendencies, nor his proclivities, and all she can do really is give him a lot of money and help him on his way.
Well, what she can change is her perception. So
Yes,
she's
that's
obviously
right.
got a negative perception about gay marriages and things like that. So she needs to change.
Which would not be uncommon.
Not at all, but she needs to get with the program, accept it, and change her. Change the way that she thinks about it.
I think Tina summed up well. The son is always going to be the son,
right.
isn't it? You
That's
can't
right.
change that.
Accept
No.
it.
And what
Accept it.
right does she have to have an opinion on it, on his sexuality anyway?
She's brought the child up.
So?
Well, she's still responsible for the child at this stage, of the bloke.
She'd want her child to be happy no matter what. That must be the
say
first
so.
fundamental.
Absolutely.
as
First
being
priority. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And if he's gay, be happy about it.
And if she doesn't support him, she'll lose him.
That's
so
right. That's exactly right.
Yeah. I just wonder in the back of the mind, they think about there'll be no grandchildren. That would go through my mind.
Get a dog.
True.
Not necessarily.
Get a dog.
Well, definitely that isn't
Oh
necessarily.
no, Elton
the
John's
case.
got 2 children.
Yeah.
Yes.
Elton John's got 2 children. Other gay people adopt children.
So there's options.
Would it alter your perception if it was your daughter who goes into a lesbian relationship?
Well, once again, I don't think it's any of your business.
It's still your child. That's the way you look at it. Yeah, okay. What about if the old man hits the roof and says, "I'm not having any of this"? You've got to be the peacemaker?
No.
Well, that's
Let
just
him-
another
let him-
case.
I know what you'd say. Get over it.
Yeah, that's right. Well, you would. But one must. I mean, if the old man's going to go berserk and have a Burke fit, whatever, let him.
Yeah.
It's none of his business. If the child is over 21, he can...
Your letters are part of our business, and we're back again next week with another Al and the Pussycat. The panel will endeavour to do the best they
Good
can.
letters, though.
Lovely to have your
Lovely
feedback.
letters,
We'll
Al.
catch you in a week's time, same time slot, with the Al and the Pussycat.